I'm Dan Foran. I like to think that I first began singing in utero. I grew up in a very musical family, singing in church every single week. So it was just normal for me to always have music around me. So I've been told that I could carry a tune ever since I was about 2. I believe it was my family ultimately that got me into music. There are so many great ones. And if I had to choose one that I personally liked all the way around, I would have to say Mozart, and you can never go wrong with Mozart. The way he writes for the voice, he's very good at it. The way he writes for the instrumentation, the way he orchestrates everything, it's so complete, and I love listening to his opera music just as much as I love listening to his piano concertos or his symphonies. It's fantastic, just as a composer. As a singer, he writes so well for the voice. I like to think that he does all the work and I get all the credit. So I would have to go with Mozart there.
You have performed with piano, accompaniment, and orchestra. Do you prefer one over the other?
To me, it depends on the situation, on what song I'm singing or performance I'm giving. If I am giving a recital, I love the piano. That's my favorite instrument. I love performing with the piano. If I am singing an aria, Che geli da manina from La Boheme, there's nothing in the world like having the orchestra behind you for that, and I wouldn't want it any other way. That is just, I mean, of course, it's my opinion, and it could be argued with by different people, but to me, I love both of them.
How long does it take you to learn music?
Apparently, it takes me longer to learn music than every other musician I went to school with. But I would have to say, for me to learn an opera roll, it takes me about a full month. That's working pretty darn hard. And that is to learn the entire roll and to have it memorized and everything. If I'm learning a piece in English, it could take me as little as, I would say, a day, 2 days to completely memorize it, to as much as several months. My favorite role is Rodolfo in La Boheme. That is the first opera that I ever saw at the Met. And I was so in awe of every single aspect of that opera. It was so great and so moving. To me, the hardest part of performing has always been tapping the character, finding out that little niche that I can use to identify with the person I'm playing, the person that I have become on stage. The easiest part, to me, and the most enjoyable, is getting out in front of the audience and performing. There's not a greater thrill to me in music than that, being able to get out in front of the audience and performing. I'm the 9th child, 7th son, born in my family. My mom had just begun her 3rd trimester. The first full day down there, Mom didn't want to go into the water, and my dad didn't know why. He came out, he asked her if everything was okay, and she said she wasn't sure, she didn't know. Something wasn't right. My dad knew it. My dad proceeded to ask Mom if she wanted to go home. She said immediately, without even thinking about it, yes, I want to go home. Mom's water broke, and the nearest hospital was about 100 miles away. My dad had 8 kids and an airport limousine that had 8 doors. He had to transport his 8 kids following behind the ambulance about 120 miles an hour. You're flying down the highway and all the intersections are closed off by the police because people are taking pictures and they want to keep the roads clear for the ambulance followed by the airport limousine with the 8 heads in the doors. And I was born in the evening. That's a very condensed version of the story. Kindergarten, 1st grade, I went to Catholic school. 2nd grade, I was moved into public school. 3rd grade, I was taken out of public school and my parents began homeschooling me. I was homeschooled all the way through high school. I went to college a little later. I was 24 when I first went to college. When I get time, I like to play hockey and rollerblade. I love to hike or walk, and I love mowing the lawns and shoveling snow. I'm a glutton for punishment, I suppose, but I love being outside doing stuff. My first live, I would say pseudo-professional performance was when I was 24, shortly after I was introduced to classical music and the classical repertoire and classical training. And I got to perform with orchestra. I sang 2 pieces. I sang "O Holy Night." It was a concert in January, so it was mixed with Christmas music. I sang "O Holy Night" and I sang the César Franck Bonis Angelicus. And it was literally life-changing for me. When I finished the performance, I realized, wow, this is it. This is what I want to do. I wouldn't be happy doing anything else. I mean, how can you not love Juan Diego Flores? His voice, the timbre is so sweet, and it's just so open and free and forward and gorgeous. You have to love listening to him. If I were to give advice to an aspiring singer who is ready to start in the business, I would say put your working boots on. Put your working boots on, because it's incredibly hard. It's a hard business to find a niche. There are so many singers in this business, so many great performers, but you have something very unique to offer, and you have to find out what it is so that you can bring it to the forefront.